Hello and welcome. You're with us on BTTV. Let's take a look at how markets are doing. They're actually doing really great. Sensex at 63496, Nifty at 18,849, close to its all-time highs. Let's pull up the index for you as well, give you a look. Just about 0.2% higher on both the headline indices. Action continuing in the broader markets as well. We'll pull up the mid-cap and small-cap index for you in just a moment. And also take a look at the bank Nifty just to get a sense of how that is looking today as well. We'll pull up some of those indices for you. In the meanwhile, let me also welcome Chakri Lokapriya, who's joining us on the show today. Chakri, great to have you with us. As always, it's before we even get to markets, it's all about Modi today in the US. Clearly, clearly that's setting a stage globally, really, for the kind of base India can offer for manufacturing, as we've seen with the meeting with Tesla, as well as all kinds of opportunities that could possibly unfold.
Indeed, thanks for having me. It's always great to be on your show. And as you rightly put, I think the numerous advantages which Modi is highlighting on the world stage of what India can do in manufacturing PLI. Elon Musk was a big meeting that he had, and if that indeed translates into something, the impact on the auto and auto ancillary industry is quite phenomenal, and creates a number of jobs, good for economy, good for industry.
Exactly. So which are those pockets of the economy? We were talking about earnings growth just behind the scenes a moment ago. Chakri, talk us through really what that's signaling to you when it comes to the economy, the domestic economy, and the turn that it's taking.
Indeed, and if you look at various sectors, and first if you look at some of the macro indicators and lead indicators, unemployment in India is falling. Second is direct tax collection is up. GST collections are up very significantly from even pre-pandemic levels. So this is all hard data that the economic recovery is indeed real. And then on the other hand, if you look at the earnings growth of corporates, it still stands at only at about 4% odd, 4 to 6%, depending on the sector overall. So that tells you that this market is not overheated, and as and when the recovery happens, there's more than enough to look for.
Okay, let's talk about NBFCs, financials, Chakri, like how much of this is going to play out in that segment? Where are we right now, given the current environment, the recent, RBI moves and corresponding, rate hikes here and there? How do we stand currently when we take a look at the financials, the BFSI segment?
I think, the RBI and the RBI governor has done a phenomenally great job, and he's rightfully got, the best banker of the year award from the UK, and that has played a crucial role in the economy, the financial market services sector recovery. So if you look at banks, their balance sheets are strong, provisions are high, NPAs are low, and as we're reaching the peak of the interest rate cycle, hopefully, NBFCs will start enjoying a higher loan growth, and therefore NBFCs valuations are on their side, and economic recovery will clearly help. So I think NBFCs, there are a number of companies to choose from.
Okay. The other pocket that's been looking interesting is the IT and export space, Chakri, because of course we've seen the move on the dollar lagging, and that's benefiting some of these pockets. How are you viewing some of those IT names? We have seen a bit of a turnaround on stock prices as well. Where do you stand on this currently?
IT, if you look at large cap versus mid cap, there's been a stark difference. In fact, mid cap has, over the last 1 year, a 12-month basis, has done very well. Stocks are up 30, 40%. On the other hand, the large cap IT, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL Tech have actually significantly underperformed. That's partly related to the flows because they become the first targets on FI buy and sell. And second is whenever there is a transition from, we've seen first the internet, Y2K, various things, events, now cloud, and after that AI, all these are big events, positive events for the IT sector. So the fear in the market is whether they will miss guidance into the second half. I think valuations are low enough for them to afford to miss the guidance and still beat on the bottom line. So I think IT, large cap, one should begin to look at.
Okay, so that's on the IT front. What about pharma, Chakri?
I think pharma, it's a case of backward integrated in complex generics. Companies like Sun Pharma, Torrent. These are the companies which would benefit more than the companies which have not integrated themselves.
Okay, fair enough. Talking about sort of the overall picture and the way the markets have been showing resilience, would you also start to look at the broader markets, mid caps, small caps, or would you still stick with the frontliners?
I think the mid caps have done very well. In fact, over the last 1 year, the mid cap index is has significantly beaten the large cap index. But if you look at the individual companies, so there's more sufficient pockets of value within. So I think it's a case of sector rotation. So with amongst the large cap and the mid caps as well, there is more than enough room for sector rotation, and that's the way I would approach it.
Okay, so overall, Chakri, if in the coming months, we're also heading towards the monsoon, focus once again shifting to some of those pockets, whether it be, auto names, fertilizers, consumer. Some people are not expecting a great monsoon, so jury's still out there on really what kind of impact we'll possibly see over the next few months. Are you also factoring in domestic cues, or are you keeping an eye, more on the kind of fund flows we're likely to see, given the global environment?
I think from a global environment, the fund flows positive has clearly helped. On the domestic front, economy is clearly recovering, like we discussed earlier, and therefore earnings growth. While the monsoon seems to be, more or less on target, give or take, I think about 6%. I think that's not going to be that much of a factor. What is clearly I think where the market will head is where there is sufficient catalyst for growth. If you look at auto and service, both the traditional auto business plus the new EV business. Second, products business within the industrials, companies like ABB, Siemens, or if you go down down the chain, railway companies, defense companies. All of these have sufficient room, and so these are all the sectors that I would look at.
All right, great. In fact, lots of news in the auto space continue to come in as well. Bajaj Auto today, we've got Hyundai, lots of talks about sales and action that's expected to unfold over the next few months as well. A lot of big news in the aviation space this week. Chakri, let me get your view on Indigo. What are you thinking about that? I mean, just from a news perspective, I know you can't talk specific stocks.
I think from an Indigo perspective, it's clearly kind of indicates their confidence in the future of Indian aviation industry and their space. Having ordered for 500 aircraft over the next many years, and Air India is also doing the same. So you have about 1,000 new aircraft coming over the next 10 odd years. So which means I think that there is sufficient room for growth as the management seems to be telling us. But this is a sector which is highly volatile, susceptible to oil prices, and therefore they are more trading investments, positional investments rather than long-term.
Okay, look at Piramal Enterprises today. It's up 13%. Shriram Finance continuing to move. That's 11-12% higher as well. Blue Dart, JSW Energy, Lupin again from the pharma space, 5-6%. Max Financials looking good today. So some of these names in particular are looking pretty strong. In fact, Lupin's at a 52-week high. US FDA not coming in on that one as well. It's overall looking pretty strong for the markets. Chakri, before we let you go, what's your year-end target, or I should say even a Samvat target looking like, given the kind of action we're currently seeing?
The way the market is constructing itself, I think it will clearly be at least 10% higher from where we are today. And you just mentioned, for instance, Shriram Finance.
Yeah.
For all the run-up, it still trades only at about one-time book, and it can trade up to 1.5 times book. So that tells you that there's sufficient room, the number of stocks it will take you to.
Amazing. Chakri, thanks so much for joining us. Always great to have you with us. Have a great day, and we look forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you.
Near those all-time highs, index looking strong and steady, broad-based buying being seen. Overall, a good day. Exports higher, NBFCs, IT, a whole host of stocks, auto names, everything really, and broader markets in particular looking really good today. Thanks so much for watching.
Joining us now on the news track is a man who has one of those hottest tickets in town. Ricky Kedge joins us, 3-time Grammy Award winner, Bangalore-based Indian music composer and ace musician. Thank you very much, Ricky, and welcome to the news track.
Thank you so much for having me.